Laskey, thanks for sitting down with TalkToDrivers.com.
Thank you for having me.
How did you get your start in racing?
Well, when I was about 10 years old, I started in quarter midgets, and then I gradually moved up through that and started racing 125 micros, went all the way through the sportsman, the A-class, the multi-class, and I started touring with Power I, and that's basically what I've been doing.
Who was your first sprint car owner?
Leon Thixton owned my first sprint car.
Of the old school drivers, who would you like to compete against? Name at least three.
Well, coming from my hometown, I loved racing against Pete Frazier. He was kind of my idol growing up. He raced really hard and really fast and was always on edge. Rich Vogler, I got the Rich Vogler scholarship to college, and I mean, he was another one of the monumental drivers in history. And then I'd have to say either Ray Crawford or Emmett Hahn. They're kind of from my hometown, so.
Is it hard on you being a woman and driving sprint cars, race cars in general?
It's a little different. I mean, every driver has its own advantages and disadvantages, but being female, I mean, it helps and it kind of hurts because, it tends to be a boys' club, and being a female in the sport, you kind of have to identify with other females, and you kind of have to prove yourself a little more than any of the male drivers, but it can help too.
What are your career racing goals?
Well, I would love to race asphalt, race Indy cars, NASCAR, Craftsman trucks, anything to be able to race for a living. But I mean, my hometown and everything that I've grown up on has basically been dirt, and I love dirt track racing.
What has been your most amusing, embarrassing moment in racing to date?
Most amusing is last year I won the Oklahoma Nationals in the multi-class, and that kind of just set off my career, and I started traveling with Power I and was one of the first females to win on the Power I circuit and in the micro class. Embarrassing, well, me and my brother both raced against each other and we had the same paint jobs, 2 and 3. Well, whenever two teammates kind of get in a wreck together and it's only 2 cars involved, it tends to be a iffy ride home, and everybody in the crowd tends to kind of look down on that. But me and my brother have gotten in a couple wrecks since we've been racing against each other for 12 years, and that was probably most embarrassing.
How do you relax some of the race from the track, non-racing related?
Well, I was a gymnast for 15 years, and I love to do gymnastics, just go and jump around, do some flips, and hang out on the equipment. I choreographed a lot of gymnastics floor routines, and dance and ballet is a lot of my background, and I like being in the studio and doing stuff like that.
Do you have a favorite racetrack?
Well, I love Little Belleville in Belleville, Illinois. That was one of the funnest tracks. I mean, the crowd is involved. But another track that I really like is Bloomington. I would love to race there. It's a tight little bull ring, and it's fast, and it's always going fast. Cars really impress spectators there.
Was it hard on you to move to Indiana to drive race cars?
Oh, extremely. My whole family, they live in Tulsa. I mean, aunts, uncles, cousins, I mean, my whole family, we went to the same high school, we're within a mile of each other, so we're a pretty close-knit family, and being away from my family is probably the hardest about moving up here, and the whole moving north and the whole weather change is a little different.
Laskey, thanks for sitting down with TalkToDrivers.com.
Thank you for having me.